What a week. Where has the time gone again? They just seem to be getting faster and faster. Now, I don't think that's just in the motor trade. I think that's just in general. Anyhow, I'm hoping everybody can hear me loud and clear. I'm just going to check my settings. Just bear with me. Yes, everything should be good. Right. Yes. Welcome, everyone. It's Tuesday evening, 7 o'clock again. Don't know where these weeks go, faster and faster. I don't know about you guys again. I said it last week. We are absolutely heaving busy. I did say that we had to turn our work off for a month because we were just overrun with work, and we ended up with so many cars that were undrivable and movable. It just became such a headache. We literally had to stop work coming in so we could get control of the workshop again. But the work is it's outrageous, really. It's great for everybody who wants work, if obviously everything else in the world wasn't going up, but there's so much of it. It's crazy. But at the same token, why? This is an interesting fact, of course, because it's been a strange week this week. I happen to know that I've spoke to a few people. There are repairers that want to get out of the trade. There are repairers that have sold up and got out of the trade to the bigger groups. There's some local to us that I happen to know of. Don't know if it's the same in your area. Obviously know again of another chap I've been speaking to who's closed the doors and gone into renting cars for film. Lots of different people are just looking for other ways of getting out of this industry. So it is getting bad, and there's different repairers and there's different avenues. So today I was going to touch on, because I speak to a lot of people, of course, and there's different views coming from all sorts, from independent repairers, from groups, from independent repairers that are also have contracts with insurers. There's a lot of those about, of course, as well. Nobody seems to be happy, so we have a problem. So I thought this week we would talk about probably some other people's issues, because I call myself an independent repair centre. We have work from different kinds of providers. We don't have any insurance approvals. I've never had in 33 years. My reasoning is because every time I've looked at the contract, I can't make it work. Now, I know there's other people out there that do have insurance approvals. I'd like to have one, to be fair, but it would have to work, but I've just never thought it would be viable. Now, I know there's also people who have insurance approvals who are also moaning that it just seems really bad out there. And I know, we keep harking on that we need to sort something out. I would love to talk to insurers, because there is a simple way of fixing this industry. There is an easy way of making things better. Because one thing I'm going to tell you is, I know for a fact that for some reason, insurers look at the claims. They look at the claims. They should look at the claims as the problem in this industry, instead of looking at repairers, thinking, I don't know why we always seem to be the bad guy. Why it's as if we've got to do what we can to repair these cars as cheaply as we can. Things have changed massively. The technology is changing weekly, monthly. It's at a rate that's, it's flying, and we've got to keep up with that, of course. So the industry is changing drastically. We need to make sure we change with it, and we need to look at repairers more than ever. So if there's any insurers, do clock onto this video, we need to work together to fix things, and we need to start talking really soon, because I don't know what's going on out there, but the volumes, I believe, they're not normal. Been in 33 years repairing cars, and we've been a very busy body shop for 33 years. So it's astronomical. It's not just busy, it's crazy. And I said this last week, it's only a couple of months now for the summer. What do we get? The Hofmeister says our summer is only August. I'm going to beg to differ and sort of say it's between May and August. Maybe get a bit of September, but then we come back to what should be the car industry's busy months again, or the accident repair industry's busy months. So if it's this busy now, what's going to happen coming towards the end of the year again? Quite scary. But The reality is what you find with repairers, or what I believe happened, has always happened in this industry. And this is something, again, for you, the insurer, to try and take on board. If you've got a good contract, you will put that to the top of your priority. So if I'm doing 5 different contracts and I've got a really bad one that I'm just sort of having to have to keep the numbers up, that service for them will be put to the back, because my better and this is only common sense really as well. I'm not trying to teach anyone anything that's not normal, but this is something insurers should take on board. If I've got a good contract, that contract will be at the top of the pile. I'll be repairing their car first, and I'll be looking after them more because I want more of their work. So insurers, if you're having a problem with volumes, you got to think of this, because coming down the line, I'm starting to believe that we are going to have problems. I don't know why them problems are there. I don't know if people, other body shops have gone bust and are being told they have. If people are getting out of the industry, but we need the levels of repairs that are going to need to be done this winter are going to be quite crazy. So I think we should be talking now to fix the problems going forward. So it's not just independents like me that don't have any insurance approvals. Tonight is probably about more of those body shops that do have approvals, because in talking to them as well, they're struggling as well. We're all struggling, and we all want to make things better. We are a different beast now. Repairers are a different beast, very technical. Fred in the shed's gone. We are very, very technophobic, reliable people that at the end of the day, repair people's second biggest asset. They say the house is your biggest asset. So unless you're lucky enough to have a boat or an airplane, generally your car is your next biggest asset that you want looked after, and you want that repaired properly when it comes to be repaired. So I thought tonight, you probably saw a video I put on in the week, put it on purpose so people could have a look at it, and it was to talk about Tom. Tom's talking for independent repair centers that work with insurers. So I'm gonna play the video for you. It is on my one of my other pages, and it's an interesting video, of course. And the the idea. Well, let's watch it and let's see. So if I click play, this is Tom. I hope you can hear it.
He runs a successful accident repair centre and is proud to work with some of the country's largest motor insurers in returning customers' damaged vehicles back to their pre-accident state.
That's all he wants to do.
With safety and efficiency at the forefront, Tom aligns insurer service level agreements, manufacturer approvals, and tight standards set out by the BSI to safeguard his insurance customers. He's constantly investing in equipment, and adopting the latest methodology to ensure his facilities are at the cutting
following
edge.
Methods, making
no
sure.
small feat given the rapid pace vehicle technology is currently changing.
Making sure people are trained.
He has grown the business and utilised volume discounting to enable an acceptable return on investment. Recently, the coronavirus pandemic has all but stalled the steady volume required. The challenges faced have resulted in extended borrowing. The industry also faces huge skill gaps, staff retention issues, and spiralling costs from suppliers, all of which is putting pressure on Tom's ability to continue to service insurance clients. The industry-wide dogma is to repair lots of cars with guaranteed volume contracts from insurance providers. However, recent events have shown these guarantees are not as secure as previously thought. Tom became increasingly frustrated when his cry for support received no real response. And now Tom is questioning his long-term relationship with his insurance providers. Tom wants to communicate the challenges he and other repairers face. He understands insurance providers have their own challenges too. However, he believes that solving them independently will lead to unintended consequences that could snowball into wider issues. Instead, Tom would prefer to work with his partners to provide solutions. With help from his trade association, Tom is considering the volume discounting model, staff shortages, and investment returns, with the possibility of using marketing to attract customers directly without the requirement to have volume contracts. Tom is confident this will generate the solutions required to survive and thrive. Tom has shared some financial data to assist the modelling of potential contract changes to enable his insurance providers to better understand the challenges faced. In sharing and through their trade associations, they are willing to work on solutions to ensure the customers' evolved requirements are delivered in a cost-efficient, sustainable and professional way.
So there you have it. I mean, that's Tom is talking for a big section of the industry. We have different sort of sections. That is what I call the insurance approved sections. That video was sent to me. So that's talking for a large section of insurance approved repairers. I think from the video, what I've watched and what I've sort of gathered from that is there is a cry for help here from everybody in the industry, the independents who actually still are already working with insurers. Insurers have a problem. We have a problem. And I don't get, are we just going to be sitting here this time next year saying, oh, we have a bigger problem because now there was 1,000 body shops last year. Now there's only 500. And I really, I started this for a reason. And that reason was to try and talk to insurers, bring people together to sort of come up with ideas of how we can make our industry better. We've got major problems. Courtesy cars are going through the roof. I saw some today come in, which I looked at and was, wow, really? Do people expect us to pay that kind of figure to buy courtesy cars or lease them back out? We've got parts are a major problem at the moment. And we're some of the biggest challenges in this industry ever faced are happening right now. We've got capacity problems, I've just said, are a major parts problem. Not just a problem, it's a worry. If that gets any worse, that is a real worry. You just saw on the video of Tom's there, a lot of independent repairers are putting money back into their own sites. They're having to push cash in to try and fund parts that we're all buying outside. People don't see this, but it gets to a level where we have to sort of say, whoa, how much money are we going to keep pumping in to make this survive? So we've got some major problems. I've also thought quality is becoming a problem, because if you're not making enough money, what you have to do is you have to speed the repairs up to try and accommodate for it. You've got to cheat. I don't do that, would never do that, but I know there's people out there for a fact that it's been an industry problem for years, will do things wrong. And that's because they're not earning enough money. They don't want to do it. So again, this is something that it affects the consumer one way or another. And then the technology is changing so fast to keep up with it. We've got lots of things that we've got to sort out. And I think if insurers, anybody watches this, please, this is a cry for help for the whole industry, not for me, for the whole industry. I want to start talks, and I'm sure I'd love to bring other people in. I'd love to get us all in a room and sit and discuss, because we can't ignore the fact of what's actually happening. Jeep are really hard parts to get hold of, as are Mazda. Yes, Paul, how you doing, buddy? I also believe Kia. Somebody told me yesterday, the day before, actually I saw it on LinkedIn, saying that they're on a 10-week wait for some parts for a Kia. I mean, this is just, it's astronomical. But what I found really amusing as well, that I only just found out this week, is their insurance for motor trade is becoming really hard to get. Now, there was an insurer, I think they were called Tradewise. I just realized they'd gone bust in February. I didn't even know that. I sort of slipped past my eyes. That's took a load of people out of the industry. Apparently now there's only 5 insurers that will consider insuring us. So, that just goes to show things are really, really tough. And if you look at the government, they're struggling. They're making lots of redundancies now. They're talking about, was it reducing 2,000 people off the books? If they're doing that because they're feeling the pinch, what is everyone else doing? We're seeing the news at the moment with, everything going up and people deciding are they going to eat or turn the heating on. Things are getting bad. But this car industry really, really does need to come together. And I'm getting frightened now that it's starting to just drag on, where I come on here every week saying, yeah, things are really bad. And I'm trying to talk about other stuff and good stuff to help us. But I'm getting more and more people that call me to say, wow, this is, what can we do? How can we get together? How can we help things? When are things going to change? You know, what? I haven't got the answers. I'm here to try and force a way of, you know, bringing us together to get the answers. But obviously on that video, then it just shown you that everybody is crying out to work together better. And I think there's never been, although we're saying this has never been such a bad time in the industry for all these problems. I actually think personally, there's never been a better time that we've had so many good repairers. And I think that's because of the BSI, because of all these other things that are, you know, the way technology has changed. We've had to keep up with repair methods. As cars have got better, so have we, so have repairers. So I think the insurers should respect that, really. And I think I'm really fed up with them looking at the body shops as a problem, or a problem of their cost. The body shops are a necessity. They are when there is a crash, you have to repair it. The costing is in the claim, the handling of the claim, the costing is on all these claims companies that you know, I know they're fighting that at the minute, because in the credit hire industry, it's become an absolute nightmare where nearly every claim goes to court. What's that about? You have a crash now that in the non-fault industry, they ask if you can afford to go and hire a car, and if you say you can't, they then want your bank statements, they want your credit card statements before you can have a hire car, because when it goes to court, they want all this evidence. I mean, this is when you've had a crash. Do you really want all that hassle? You just want your car repaired. So for me, the insurers are making the industry a real horrible mess, and it doesn't need to be. But I really believe that body shops have been overlooked for some time now. We are the skill of the trade. We are the necessity. We are the part that puts the cars back together and puts the customer back on the road. It is a cost. When there's a claim, you have to have your car repaired. But for some reason, we've been bullied, and we've allowed insurers to bully us for too long. And that's going to backfire on them at some stage, because there's either not going to be enough of us, and we can't have any more nationwide, people growing these massive groups and monopolizing, and then suddenly going bust because there's not enough money in it, because you can't survive a company from being funded constantly. It's a nightmare. Andrew Hill, how are we doing? How would insurers react to being asked for interim payments for parts? Letting them tie up revenue in back-ordered parts. You know what, Andrew? What a fantastic point. But you know what? That is a real point. And why don't they help? Although the money's tied up, I agree with them. Well, why don't they help us? They tried to cut us so tight. They need to give us, repairers some help somewhere. Because that is a massive thing. Like you've just said, body shops owners, I know for a fact, I'm talking to lots of them, they're pumping their own cash in to try and fund these parts, because all the jobs are out, are sitting around unrepaired because we can't get the parts to finish them. But that's the body shop's revenue that's now outstanding. I know for a fact we've got double the cars we've normally had on site that are all waiting parts. That's what our cash flow is taken up with other cars waiting to repair. Colin, how are we? Why do you not see groups whinging about these problems? They just keep getting bigger and bigger, but have all the problems, but on a bigger scale. Yeah, Colin, it is an interest, but again, I'd like to hear from a group, because let's look at Nationwide. Nationwide had backers, finances, people chucking money in all the time. It can only last so far. I've always said this, I know there's a lot of people here been in business a long, long time. You can borrow from Peter to pay Paul, and you can keep cash turning for so long. But eventually that cash, if you're not making enough money, it's going to fizzle out. And that's what happened to Nationwide. Now, insurers seem to be happy to let that happen, rather than looking at a model, looking at a sustainable future, which they're supposed to do, to say, right, we need repairers. We know that. We're going to have to look after repairers. And then it's everything outside of that they should be looking at to say, well, that's where we need to save the costs. Do you think they're being funded by insurance companies? Colin, great question. I don't know is the answer. Obviously, I don't know. I don't think insurance companies would help them. It's like now, I think they need to help us all. The whole picture of our industry is a big picture at the moment. And I think people need to really help us because it isn't getting better. I know that for a fact. And I know I'm talking to people about parts and problems, and no one is having it any easier. And people are concerned it's getting harder. And I know that getting parts is getting harder. No one's telling us that's going to get any better. And I also feel the pinch from parts companies. They're really on you every month trying to, get money. Are they getting desperate, getting scared? I don't know, but the whole vibe at the moment is not nice. But nor is the claims procedure, in my opinion. You got to remember, I've been attached to the full cycle of a claim from start to finish to non-fault. I've done everything, so I know the whole process from start to finish. And what I do know is that the repair centre is definitely overlooked. We are definitely, I don't know why. It's as if, sometimes horrible saying, but you with a bit of shit on someone's shoe. That's how I feel as a repairer. But we're not treated like, I don't think they've given us, Collins just said they're certainly given preferential treatment because they need coverage. Yeah, but a group of independents will give you that coverage. And this is why Crash Clinic, for me, is to say, let's pull together, because it's better for us to be able to say, when an insurer says, hey, we need help now, because I think that's going to be I think when that stage comes, which they're going to force to happen, at some point, they're going to say, we need help as an insurer because we've got nowhere to get cars repaired. This is the whole idea of Crash Clinic, is to have loads of us connected and having a fantastic group of great repairers where we can say, yes, we can help you, but this is what our group wants. And by that time, I'm hoping we've all got together to say, yes, this is a good procedure. This is how we should be operating. And then we can give them the coverage, we can give them the service. And let's face it, my own opinion again, independent repairers have a boss at every site that really wants to make sure that them cars are repaired properly. And I think that's, for me, independents are always going to give you that first class service. I had a Carillion contract, of course, looking after all the repairs for Carillion throughout the UK, and it was all independent repairers. And they all obviously gave a fantastic service to me, to Carillion, for 16 years. And what I will tell you again, what I do know is, because Carillion looked after the repairers, they paid fast. They didn't take too much off the bottom line. I think it was 10%, which is fantastic, of course. So these repairers put them to the top. So whilst Carillion was getting all these cars, every repair, why? Because they wanted more of that work. And what happened then is Carillion ended up saving a lot of money, because every time they had a crash, they had a car out on hire, or they had a car that they needed to be supplied, and Carillion supplied their own. So it kept them down to a minimum. Their losses were saved massively because the repair was, everybody's priority. So that helped them in the back end. And that's what insurers need to start thinking. Hold on, if we need to get repairs through quickly, why don't we actually pay a little bit more and make us the priority in a garage, and we'll get our cars repaired faster and better. So, because the insurers seem to stick together on trying to not give us anything, but it's working against them, and it's going to work against them the worse the industry gets, I believe, because I do know now, you've just seen that little video from Tom. Tom is speaking on behalf of many repairers that are out there that have insurance approvals, and they're feeling the pinch like all of us, but they want to come together and find a way of fixing things. So we can't fix anything until insurers start to come forward. So I think that's a next big step, is to try and get insurers to start talking to us. We need to start getting together once a quarter or something to come up with ideas like this. I mean, insurers really now, I believe, should be helping to fund parts for us now. Every car we repair, I believe they should be giving us a percentage or something up front to help for them parts, so we don't get stuck. And that would help us massively. They're going to pay for that job at some stage, so it's not going to kill them. It's not going to, they've got the money to, let's face it. While the world's still struggling, insurers still produce, their budgets of billions of pounds being made. So it wouldn't hurt them, and that would help us, and in sort of help the whole cycle really, and help us. massively, to be honest. I think I'd like to know what people think is the main problems, because there's a lot of problems is what I do know. Andrew, again, thanks. Do you think insurers would remove contracts if approved repairers asked for interim payments? Have you ever asked for an interim payment? In fairness, Andrew, no, haven't asked. I haven't got any insurance approvals, so I've never asked that. But I think it's getting to be time now where I think people are really starting to feel. And I think it could be look at the draw again. What cars do you, if you repair a lot of Fords, for instance, and let's say Ford suddenly have a major problem with parts, then you as a repairer are going to have a lot of, a lot of problems. It could be in certain areas, I don't know. But if you're unlucky enough to have a lot of those cars that need a lot of parts and they can't be got, you're going to feel a huge pinch in your area, in your repair center. But we've got to start coming up with plans, guys, together, because I was saying this probably when we first came live. We've got a lot of problems we've got to discuss, and parts is a huge one of them. I know we can go on with staffing and everything else, but I believe insurers have got a false economy anyway, because I believe they are looking at the repair center as a lot of the problem, the cash problem, when I think the claim is the problem. I've always said that the whole process, the minute they open up, they should want to get it dealt with and closed quickly. I know it's cheaper for them if they close a claim, but we've also got let's face it, the non-fault side. We've got the just getting them to pay on. Kevin, fantastic. How are we, buddy? Nice to hear from you. You know what? We've done something today, in fairness, and this is just this afternoon, where we've had a little look at a couple of our aged debtors, and lo and behold, supposed to be paid in so many days. They're already 8 days over, a week over, so we're having to chase them. Kevin, you couldn't be more right with that. Just getting paid on time would be a start, would be a huge start. But I don't know. We've got to start together coming up with thoughts to probably take to the insurers, because I believe they're running a false economy. The whole claims process, the whole claims has got to change. Now, if there's anybody out there that knows a lot about me, you'll know that I actually wrote the GTA. That is how the non-fault industry runs. And again, like I've just said to you, I do not like how the industry's gone. The between insurers fighting claims companies, and let's face it, there's a repairer in the middle of that. The poor customers, it's as if everyone's forgotten there is a customer that's had an accident. There's two customers. One's at fault, one's not at fault, and they both need their cars repaired. And again, we are at the forefront of that because we're repairing the cars. But that process has got to be made easier, and it's got to be made better. And I think that the way insurers have gone, they spend more time fighting and arguing in court with solicitors and all this kind of stuff. The amount of money that costs is astronomical, and it's probably a part of the role that you don't see being a repairer, but I do see, because I'm on the other side, or have been on the other side. So that costs a fortune. They straight away if you think most claims, there's always a fault and a non-fault section. So there's pretty much a solicitor at the end of one of those, and that just goes straight into their claim process. The costing. Why don't they go and badger the solicitors and take 10% off them and take 25% off them and get them to pay up for anything but returning to the repairer? It's as if, oh, things are tight, let's go and hit the repairer. It's the wrong thing to do, and especially now. I'd like to hear from other people, of course. I had a matrix that I wanted to put out. I know a few people have said, Daz, ever so sorry, really busy. The matrix for me is trying for us. It was giving you guys the chance to say, this is what I believe we should be charging. And I want to see how far out of reality the ABP is. That's the only guide we've got at the moment, but that's not a guide from us. So I want to see how far that is to what insurers we're actually charging out there. I want to see how far away, what's that gap on what we believe we should be charging, because I think it's going to be pretty big, and that's where we need to be looking to. Because at the end of the day, how an insurer works. An insurer sees a figure and they don't want to pay that. They never want to pay that. So whatever the ABP do, and the ABP, if you're listening, you need to increase that for repair centres, because whatever it says, they always want to pay less. So you need to increase that to help repair centres if you are there to help repair centres, of course. But the industry is in a massive call out, and that today was to sort of say even the repairers that are, you know, approved repairers and have got contracts with insurers, even they're crying out now, but they're not going to come out publicly. So my voice, if anybody wants to speak to me, I will voice your opinions. I'll never tell anybody who it was or anything like that. So you got no problem in coming to me to talk, because I'm here to try and bridge the gap, to try and make things better. Whether I can, whether I can't, no harm in trying. I will always keep trying, because we need, if you don't try, you don't get anywhere. That's one thing I do know. So I'd rather die trying than not trying. And hoping there's a lot of repairers out there that are with me on that, and we can come together and sort of say, right, it's time. I think it's been time for a long time, since COVID especially, and it's dragging. Colin, I honestly don't think insurance companies give a toss about the way cars are repaired. That's quite scary and probably true. And I'm just to be seen to have given a toss. True. Latest joke, in my opinion, is the new mental health issues that are in the industry, and I can understand from the issues I've had over the years, mainly due to area managers from insurance companies nailing me to the floor with unachievable key-to-key times. Now now they're putting in phones so we can get help. Again, lip service and make out they care. Colin, you know what? There's a thing in business where they do them kind of things, don't they? And yeah, they make out that they care, and they get points for making out that they care, and they tick boxes when they make out that they care. But like you say, do they? Is that going to actually, you know, they've put a phone in the thingy that's supposed to, that's it, we've done our bit. And sometimes it's just not good enough. Again, it's the problem is in the industry at the moment. Like you've just said, key-to-key times, you can't make them times because we're trying to make a profit. And you can't, what's the old saying, you can't get blood out of a stone. I believe we're getting worse. I'm with electric, gas, and everything else at the moment, this back end of the year now for the next 6 months is going to be interesting to see what profits people are reporting, because everything's got worse, everything's got tighter. And again, nothing's gone up again since I spoke last time. Labour rates, everything else, nothing's gone up, nothing's changed. I've got a couple of claims I'm arguing with insurers because they're saying I shouldn't have repaired this and shouldn't have repaired that on a couple of non-fault claims. Of course, I should repair it. The problem is, we do things properly, so they don't want us to do things properly. Is that what it's all about? I don't know. But like you said, do they care? They're going to have to care is the difference. They're going to have to care because there's a lot going on in our industry. There's a lot changing. There's a lot we can't control, and there's a lot we need to start controlling. Like I say, we've got all these. You're not seeing many new repairers. That's another thing. Not seeing many new repairers. We're seeing repairers disappear, and that's the thing this week that was brought to my attention. I thought it was quite sad. A lot of people apparently don't like the industry anymore. They don't enjoy the industry. They're ready to get out of the industry, and some are getting out of the industry. They're selling on now to the groups or shutting the doors. And one quite local to me, in fairness, I heard was really disappointed because he just said he just fell out of love with the industry because it was too hard to get good staff. And he was fed up of being dictated to by insurers, which was just making it harder and harder. And apparently now with the parts issue, he's sold up, he's gone. So how many more of us are going to are we going to do that? It's like you've just said there, Colin, when you start to get mental health issues and stuff like that, you start to get really bothered about the industry, and people will turn and just say, I've had enough, and close doors. And I think we've got to do something, guys. We've got to get together. I'm definitely going to get together where we have a chat. The Matrix, I really wanted to try and get the Matrix done because I really wanted to talk about that, because if we haven't got, it's like everywhere where now when things go up, they put a percentage on top of it. If you go into a shoe shop, them shoes are £80, £40, £30. They have fixed prices. I don't know about you guys, but I'm still in the zone of when we're talking to engineers, trying to agree rates. My My rate should be my rate, but it's not. Andrew Hill, I am new to this broadcast. I'm familiar the issues you're talking about, but do you have anything planned to make change? Assuming you're speaking on behalf of independent repairers. Andrew, I'm trying to talk on behalf of independents. Like I said to you today, yes, it is independents, of course. But independents, there are different independents. Like I've got no approvals for insurers. We've got independents that have contracts with insurers. So, but everyone, I know for a fact, they're not going to come forward and speak out because they're too terrified what insurers would do to them. I'm not, I'm here to just speak out because that's who I am. I'm here to try and we need to make a help. We need to make a stance. So as independents, it's down to us to come together because no one's going to bring us together. We've got to come together to try and get stronger together. I keep saying the insurance industry world, Broker Direct did it. They when all the brokers were being brought up, the smaller they got, they were losing their power. And then some clever sod said, right, I'm going to create a network of insurance brokers called Broker Network. And then because they joined together, they got power and they became massive and they saved a lot of brokers. And we need something similar. And that's what Crash Clinic's supposed to do. I've sort of stood forward and said, I'm happy to try and host this. I want other people to come in and help us with it. I don't want to do it on my own. I'm here to say this is an industry problem. I haven't got all the answers. I know the industry inside out. It's all I know. It's all I've ever done. And I've done fault accidents, non-fault accidents, all claims, you name it. I've done it all. And I know there is an easier way for this to run, but insurers don't seem to want to listen. But they're going to, as I say to this, there comes a stage where I believe now from what I'm seeing, I don't think they're going to have a choice. I really don't think they're going to have a choice. If they don't start acting now, like us, we should all be speaking about how can we make it better? There's got to be ways of making this better. I think straight away, insurers should be helping people now. I mean, I've got no insurance approvals, but if I was an insurance, if I had them, I would be expecting my insurers to help us now, to fund parts, what we're ordering for jobs. The biggest problem I've always hated when people say to you, we're going to give you some jobs, but we want you to order the parts before you start the car. I get the fact around that. That means we want you to have the parts in before you start the job, so the job's going to be quicker, correct? And then that's going to, even if it's a non-fault claim, that's going to bring the hire down to a smaller period. I get the process, and I get why you want to do that. But then there's a reality. You've got to turn around to say, well, it's the poor repairer again that's got to order the parts. And then if they order the parts and the customer lets them down, I mean, I'm only being honest here as a repairer. We've done this and we did this for quite a while. And then we stopped it. We had to stop doing it. We had, I mean, this sounds a bit morbid, but we had one person die and we got stuck with a load of parts off a car. We got somebody that cancelled the job. We got somebody, what else was it? Because they moved the area. We got somebody sold their car as it was. So all of a sudden we got 4 or 5 cars. We started to get parts all over the place. And we're like, couldn't get them sent back because we'd ordered them in, waiting for the customer to get them in. It's just problems that we shouldn't have. So although I get that process, we've sort of said, we shouldn't be doing that. And especially now, because I don't know about, again, in all the areas, I've had a big parts supplier that said to us, we need to pull your, we're not going to give you as much credit. Why not? We're doing it with everybody. Wow. So these are clever people now that are sort of saying, it's always the repairer. We want your money off you to buy the parts before we order them. Because I used to do this many years ago. We said, if you can't get an order complete, don't send me the parts. I don't want them sat around my workshop getting damaged. I want the order complete. If anywhere else in the world, you want your order complete. So this used to work years ago. And then the parts people would bring your order complete. Now they say, again, I'd love to hear from you guys what you're having. They say, no, order the part or we're not, unless you order the parts now and pay for them, we're not getting them. So we're now having to order and pay for parts to get the orders in. Or, we're having to order the complete, well, we don't want it unless it's complete. Don't deliver it. They're now saying, well, we don't want to hold them either. But we won't order unless you order them. It's like, you know, you can see the frustration. It just gets, and then you got your staff that are looking after this, trying to do the best for you. I think it's terrible. My funniest one was we had some parts ordered about a month ago. We had to pay for these parts in advance, paid for the parts. The parts then came a month later with an increase. We're ever so sorry, your parts have gone up. Well, how can they have gone up? I paid for them at the price you gave me. So this is how bad this world is now. They're trying then to, I got away with it this time, but they're trying that. It's a mess. When you pay for something, it's paid for. But again, guys, these are issues. I mean, the parts issue for me is massive because I think if you look at your repair center, I'm pretty sure the biggest part of your repairs will be parts. And I think it wouldn't hurt insurance companies to help us. And I know there, Andrew, how you kind of said, or was it Colin? Sorry, that said, are they helping their own, you know, insurance approved repairers? I think they've got to help everybody because there is an issue getting jobs done. I believe, you know, these insurers just can't get enough repairs done. And I'd be interested to find out there how many people right now. Yeah, this is a post I'm going to put on tomorrow as a poll. How many people out there would like to start a new repair center right now? That's an interesting one to see. You've got to staff it, and then you've got to take another load of work on. Would it be worth doing? Don't know. Interesting fact. But anyway, guys, I've probably rattled on a bit too much about that today, but I thought I haven't actually done that for a while because we've had some nice people on the show to talk about, got some nice new people booked on over the next coming months as well. Going to try and bring you some help in marketing, some help in other business ways. I am away from next week, so I might be, I'm going to see if I can get on or not. We'll see. But I think we're going to sort of I'm going to try and bring some more interesting stuff to the table. The matrix, I would really love people to fix. The letter last week, the letter worked, of course, saving someone a £250 excess problem. They got their money back from that. So I have sent the letter out to a couple of people. If you want that letter, you're more than welcome to have it. Just drop me a line. I'll send you a letter that will get your customer it got mine their money back. The letter's quite in depth. It uses Tim Kelly's extraction plus some extras that I put into it. Great letter, and it got our customer her excess back. Colin, let's have a quick read of this and see. I think insurance companies are trying harder than ever to help groups grow so they have less points of contact. And there is lots going on in the background that we are not privileged to. That's the point. Very sad state of affairs. If I had a job authorized, ordered parts, and then cancelled, I build insurance for parts, and I always got paid or sued them. Fair play, Colin. Because yeah, you're right there. It's I don't know what we did back then because it was, as I say, it was a little while back. But we're getting to them stages now. Wonder what's going on in the background. Do they want rid of the independents? Because surely that's a bit of a monopoly for them if they have another situation. If they get rid of independents and then they have another situation where they have another, what were they called? The group that went, and all of a sudden that group folds away. Nationwide, sorry. Yeah, if they have that situation on their hands and there's no independents to fall by the wayside, because as much as they fight us, I don't know an independent repairer who's not absolutely falling, bursting at the seams with work. So they need us. And I think it would be very silly, if I'm my own opinion, to build a couple of big groups. They only need one to fall, then the industry's in real turmoil. So interesting there, Colin. Obviously, we are right. We don't get to see the other side of it. Maybe that's why. Maybe they don't want to come forward and speak to us. So again, even more reason for us to get together, link together. I would like to be part of a connected group like the Broker Network that I explained. I think we should be part of something where we all come together, we all have an input, and we all help us to get stronger. And then eventually you'll get buying power. Because I do believe there's going to come a time, and it might, it could be as soon as next year, the end of this year, where these insurers are going to, they're desperate to have stuff repaired. If they don't help us, we're going to have to fight back at some stage. And that's what we're back to this. You know, I don't want to do that. And I'm pretty sure no, everyone else doesn't want to do that. All we want to do is a good job and get paid for it. And I think the insurers we've got to start connecting. We've got to start connecting, because this industry, I've been saying it for ages, is changing now more than it's ever changed in the last 30 years. And it's going to change more, I believe, in the next 5 years than it's ever changed. And in 10 years, I don't think you recognize this industry. So I think it's time that nobody knows the answers. Nobody knows how it's changing, what's happening. You know, these things are just happening under our feet. I'd like to have some kind of input, some kind of control on it, so we can sort of steer the way it's going. So again, let me know your thoughts on that, guys. But yeah, I will definitely, when I've come back off holiday, I'll be refreshed, because I am worn out at the moment, and try and look at us trying to get together and to at least have a chat. And that's for those who are interested, because if people aren't interested, we've got a very sad industry that's going to be falling apart. And that is without a doubt. So let's try and keep connected. Please, again, join Crash Clinic on the website, www. Because that's behind closed doors, where we can talk seriously without people being able to see what we're talking about. Because you have to be a member, and I vet every member who joins just to make sure there are no spies. So yeah, again, industry problems galore. Please get in touch with me. Lots of people speak to me through the week, and they get in touch, and we have a good chat on the phone about what's happening, what's going on, and about their problems. That helps me to know what's going on in the industry, and I can bring you more information, of course. So very interested to talk to anybody with your problems, with what's going on, because it helps me to come back and try and, you know, create that network that we can all help each other. That's what Crash Clinic is all about, us independents coming together and getting stronger together. So again, I will keep trying. You will see me here every Tuesday, unless I'm on holiday, of course, which is next week, the week after. So I may be here. But yeah, after that, we'll have some new people coming onto the show to talk about how to make things better. And have a great week. It's a crazy week. Let's hope the weather, it's just been raining. That means more accidents. No, but it's all good. Where are they going to get repaired? But yeah, I did hear some customers as well. Who was it? I spoke to someone who said they couldn't believe how long it took them to get their car repaired. This seems to be the norm, because it's not slowing up. Anyway, be lovely to have a great meeting, guys. Thanks again. If you've got any issues, please bring them up. Drop me a line. Drop me a line on Instagram, on LinkedIn. And if not, drop them in on the site. Please join the site, because I'm always on there, of course. That's what we want to start going to get growing. The app, I'm not going to say it again, it's supposed to be coming out, but we've got a little problem pushing it to the App Store. So I'll let my web developers get that finished. And then that way we can actually talk as we go, because I want to hear the problems that you guys are facing. If I can hear the problems you guys are facing, we can, you know, talk about them as real issues, and then I can try and, you know, get other people involved, and let's try and find a way. I'm really interested in what other people think of the industry and how we can make it better. But we definitely need to start bringing insurers in and looking at the bigger picture, because I believe I'm going to sort of imagine what's going to happen this Christmas. Because I'm quite not worried, but sort of, you know, let's face it, parts problems, demand could be a very interesting end of the year, but it could be the catalyst that sort of says to the insurers, you need to stand up and start talking to independent repairers. So I'll leave it on that note, guys. Obviously, we need to get stronger together. So again, please join us. Let's drop a line onto the website. Let's start coming together and talking more. The industry's got to get better. I love independent repair centres. So and that was my old network that was fantastic for 16 years with Carillion, and we gave them a fabulous job, which we're very proud of. So it's easily done. It's easily done. Insurers, you're looking at the wrong people. Look at the claims. Don't look at the repairer. The repairer is your best friend. Anyhow, like I said, guys and girls, have a great week, of course. Drop me any lines. Drop me any info that you would like to talk about. And if there's someone out there that wants to come onto the show, drop me a line. Very interested in having people come onto the show to talk. And we'll see you hopefully next Tuesday, if not the following one. Take care. Have a great week.